Okay, get ready, because there is a tiny creature living in the ocean right now that could probably beat you in a fight. It is smaller than your hand. It looks kind of like a shrimp, and it has punched through actual aquarium glass. For real. This is the mantis shrimp, and after today, you will never look at the ocean the same way again. Let's start with that punch. Scientists measured the speed of a mantis shrimp strike. Are you ready for this? It travels at 50 miles per hour, from 0 to 50 in less than 3 milliseconds. That is faster than a speeding bullet in terms of acceleration. Your eye cannot even see it happen. By the time your brain has processed that something moved, the punch is already done. The mantis shrimp hits with the force of a rifle bullet relative to its size. Which is why, yes, it has absolutely destroyed aquarium tanks. Aquariums that keep mantis shrimp have to use special super thick acrylic glass. Because regular glass? Gone. Shattered just like that. But wait, it gets weirder. The punch is not just fast, it creates something called cavitation bubbles. Now stick with me here because this is one of the coolest things in all of science. When the mantis shrimp strikes so fast, it creates tiny bubbles of vapor in the water. These bubbles collapse instantly, and when they do, they release a second shockwave. So the shrimp technically hits its target twice. Once with the fist, once with the bubble explosion. The temperature inside those bubbles, for just a tiny fraction of a second, is almost as hot as the surface of the sun. I am not making that up. The mantis shrimp is basically firing a little sun explosion at its prey, and it does this to crack open crabs and clams for lunch. So how does the shrimp not destroy its own arm doing this? Scientists have been studying the club, which is what they call the punching limb, and they found it is built like a natural shock absorber. It has layers of fibers that spiral in different directions, and they absorb the impact instead of breaking. Engineers are now copying this design to build better helmets and body armor. A little ocean shrimp is literally teaching us how to protect soldiers and football players. That is just incredible. Now let's talk about the eyes, because honestly, the punch is only the second most insane thing about the mantis shrimp. You have 3 types of color receptors in your eyes. 3. That lets you see millions of colors. Dogs have 2 types, so they see fewer colors than you do. Most birds have 4 types, which means they see colors you cannot even imagine. The mantis shrimp has 16 types of color receptors. 16. Scientists were absolutely sure this meant the mantis shrimp could see colors that would blow our minds completely. They were ready to declare it the champion of all vision in the entire animal kingdom. And then they ran the experiments, and the results were so surprising that scientists literally had to rethink everything. It turns out the mantis shrimp does not actually use those 16 receptors to see more colors than us. It uses them in a totally different way. Instead of mixing colors together like we do, the mantis shrimp identifies colors almost like a barcode scanner. Each receptor is tuned to a specific wavelength, and the brain just checks them off. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. This actually makes color recognition faster, not richer. The mantis shrimp probably does not see more colors than you. It just processes color at insane speed, which makes sense for an animal that needs to react in 3 milliseconds. But here is the thing that still makes it the champion. Mantis shrimp can see ultraviolet light. which is completely invisible to us. They can also see infrared light at the other end of the spectrum. And on top of that, they can detect polarized light, which is light that vibrates in a specific direction. Humans cannot do any of those three things without special equipment. The mantis shrimp does it all naturally with those wild little eyes that can move independently in every direction. You can watch one eye look up while the other eye looks sideways. It is genuinely unsettling and also completely awesome. Now, here is something that might surprise you about where mantis shrimp live. You might picture them in some deep, dark ocean trench far away. But no, these creatures live in shallow tropical waters, coral reefs, beach areas you might actually visit on vacation. They hide in burrows in the sand or tuck themselves into crevices in rocks and coral. They are secret assassins hiding in plain sight. Some divers have reached into a crack in a reef and pulled back a bloody finger with no idea what just happened. A mantis shrimp happened. That is what happened. There are actually about 450 different species of mantis shrimp. They come in two main types, smashers and spearers. Smashers are the ones with the clubs who crack open hard-shelled prey. Spearers have sharp, spiny arms that unfold like a switchblade to stab soft prey like fish. Both types are essentially tiny supervillains with different specialty weapons, and both use that same explosive spring-loaded mechanism to attack. The whole system works like a latch. The muscle loads up tension, a special joint locks it in place, and then the latch releases and the arm flies forward with all that stored energy at once. It is basically a biological crossbow built into their arm. Here is a fact that almost nobody knows. Mantis shrimp are not actually shrimp. And they are not mantises. They are their own separate group called stomatopods, which have been around for about 400 million years. They existed before the dinosaurs. They survived every mass extinction the Earth has thrown at them. While the dinosaurs came and went, while mammals evolved, while humans appeared and built cities and invented the internet, the mantis shrimp just kept on punching. 400 million years of perfecting that strike. No wonder it works so well. They are also surprisingly smart for a creature this size. Mantis shrimp can recognize individual humans. Scientists who worked with them regularly noticed that certain shrimp would behave differently around different people. Some would come to the front of the tank for familiar faces. Others would stay defensive around strangers. They have been shown to learn and remember, which is not something you expect from something most people think of as just a fancy shrimp. And one more thing before we wrap up, because this one is genuinely beautiful. Mantis shrimp mate for life. They find a partner and they stay together, sometimes for 20 years. They share a burrow. They hunt together. They take turns guarding the eggs while the other one goes out looking for food. In a world where their whole identity is basically being a tiny, indestructible weapon of mass destruction, they are also completely devoted parents and lifelong partners. I did not see that coming either. So let's recap what we just learned about this absolute unit of a sea creature. It punches faster than almost anything else alive. It punches so hard the water itself explodes with heat. It does not even get hurt because its arm is a natural shock absorber that we are now copying for human body armor. It has 16 types of color receptors and can see ultraviolet, infrared, and polarized light. It is not actually a shrimp and has survived 400 million years on Earth. It is smarter than most people expect. can recognize individual humans, and on top of all of that, it mates for life and is a genuinely devoted parent. The mantis shrimp is proof that real life is wilder than anything anyone could ever make up. Somewhere out there right now, in a shallow reef, a creature smaller than your forearm is sitting in a burrow with its partner, watching the ocean with 16 receptor eyes that see colors we cannot imagine, just waiting for something to get close enough so it can unleash a sun temperature bubble explosion punch at 3 milliseconds. And that, my friends, is just a regular Tuesday for the mantis shrimp. Now here is the question I have to ask you. If the mantis shrimp could challenge any other animal in a one-on-one contest, not just a fight, but any kind of contest at all, what animal do you think would give it the biggest competition? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because I am reading every single one.